Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Chill Like a Mother podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about the unseen emotional, physical labors of being a mom and how that impacts us as humans, as people, as professionals, as leaders. Because if we don't often, and I find this as well, if we don't have a partner who is kind of sharing the load and all of that, it can really impact the way that we are viewed as mothers out in the world and also what we get to participate in. And so I am here with Ryley Miller. So take it away, Ryley.
My name is Ryley Miller. I'm an executive director of Rise of Society Alberta. So we are a Leduc-based charity that provides domestic violence counseling for really Leduc and surrounding areas, including Edmonton as well. I am a mental health therapist by trade myself. So I've been very experienced within social services, working with adults with developmental disabilities, to probation, to now the therapy side of things. So that's a little bit about my background. And of course, I have two daughters that are 5 and 3 years old. And yeah, I've been happy to be back in Leduc after completing my degree. So I've been back now officially since 2018.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the ways the emotional, that like unseen emotional labor has impacted you as a parent.
I think it's a really tricky thing to navigate when you become a parent. I think at the beginning it was really hard because you're entering this new role of mother, and what does that look like? And you're still trying to figure out who you are as an individual still. I will say it has gotten better with time and having those boundaries, but I think we can all agree that when you're at work or you're, doing a different thing for yourself, whether it's free time, that turning off that mother, it doesn't really happen. And so you are carrying that weight of thinking about your kids and all the stuff that you need to get done, and then coming about what do you need to do for yourself. So it's a struggle for sure for a lot of people. Not impossible to manage, but it's definitely there, that weight.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
How has it how have you seen it kind of unfold either within your own life or like within the lives of your friends? Like what are you talking about in this space?
Well, before we were recording, I think it was very easy that these are very regular conversations that I have with my own friends is how do we manage it? And recognizing, is this normal to feel this way? Is it normal to feel this hard sometimes? And then the feedback that we get is yes, this is normal and this is ongoing, that we as women have to figure out and navigate. I think from like a professional setting, I definitely see it more so that people might have different expectations of you as a mother. Perhaps maybe they feel like you're limited, that you're not able to take on that extra job, or you're just, yeah, you're not able to grow more. You're kind of weighted down than perhaps your other male counterparts, right? And I think the really big thing in that is utilizing those supports, whether it's your friends, your partner. That's a huge one for me. I'm very lucky and fortunate that I have a husband that's able to take on that good chunk of that load and being at home with the girls so that I'm able to do the work that I really want to do, that brings a lot of value to who I am, because that's a big part of me is my career, right? Um I could also speak to the clients that I work with. A lot of women impacted by domestic violence. They carry a huge emotional burden with raising children. Many of our clients, they don't either have the partners or they're not active. And so they are literally carrying things by themselves. So I have a very intimate personal view on the different ways that women carry that load for sure.
Can you speak to some of those things? Is there like a specific thing that you feel like women carry that, and we are talking about gender here, so I'll just name it, that
Sure.
women carry that traditionally men don't?
I mean, I think at the get-go, right, the burden is on us, right? We carry them, our
Mhm.
bodies change, like, our emotions change, so automatically from the beginning, we're just have that huge emotional, physical investment, and I think that doesn't go away. I think that we're just innately primed to always have that burden. I just think in general too, society's expectations, I think we've come a long way, and I think that that burden is being shared better between partners, but I still think that there's still a lot of room for improvement there for sure.
Mhm. What what changed you when you became a parent in the realization of that? And what are some of the things that you and your partner have implemented to even out the load? Because I don't imagine that it was just like magically one day he was
No.
like, I'm just going to stay home. Right. And
No.
like you were just able to be like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, I think the key word is negotiation, right? And if you're in a loving, respectful marriage, that negotiation is very healthy, right? Deciding like between what are you really good at? What are you really good at? And then coming into compromise. And but it's always shifting, right? I've also been in the role where I was the primary parent. And so I had the more traditional roles, right? The pink roles, but now we flipped and it works for us for right now. Like I
Yeah.
said, it's given me the ability to run my organization and take on more responsibilities, like running for council, as I'm sure we'll talk about later. But it's negotiation. That's what's worked for us. I can't speak for everybody. Um, but it's difficult, right? Trying to figure out what works for each family, it's different.
Yeah. There was a time in I don't know, in one of the COVID years
Yeah.
that my son was about 8 months old when the first lockdown hit, and my husband was out of work and home, and one of us had to be making money,
Yeah.
and so I went back to work early, and we managed it, balanced it. Um,
Yep, I've been there.
but
Yeah.
there was a series of weeks
Mhm.
where I remember I went down into the laundry room and I was like, I don't think I've been down here in weeks. Is this what this feels like to be on the other side of the mental load? Like it literally didn't even occur to me to do laundry while I was the one working and he was the one home. And we didn't even really talk about it. It was just like he just did the laundry because
Yeah.
it needed to be done. And he was the one caregiving for the baby
Yeah.
who, spits up and poops and all the things.
Sure.
And I thought it was a really eye-opening perspective for me to think that that's how it feels on the other side. That it's often, not always, but often not done out of like malice or intention.
No.
When like before my husband and I implemented some of the fair play method things into our marriage, on a book by Eve Brodsky, um, there were lots of times where I felt resentment, and or he also felt resentment over me because I would just take care of things without even asking him if he wanted to be part of it. And what was just really interesting about that time in our lives is how much I caught myself having the lived experience of being the partner outside of the home. And how it just like I was just like I didn't even think about doing the laundry. And if that's how it feels for you, I know that you're not doing it on purpose. Like I know that you're not like being inept or like not noticing it on purpose.
I always say to my friends actually, that trading off who's the primary parent is such a great equalizer
Mhm.
in a relationship because you get to see both sides and both perspectives, right? And I think to your point too, when you switch, it actually empowers the other partner to be like,
Right.
"Oh, I need to figure out how to manage the daily schedule. When am I packing? When I go out the door? All these logistics." It just empowers them to build these skills so that they it's not this like they don't feel incompetent, right?
Mhm.
And so you're empowering them, "Go it, do it. You're the primary parent. I encourage you to do it. You might do it
Yeah.
differently than me, but you're doing it." And so I always think it's just even if you do it for a little bit, if you have the opportunity, some people might not have the option, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, they have to both be working, right? That's a
Yes.
very real reality for a lot of people. But I would say it is a really great equalizer in a relationship to trade perspectives a little bit because 'cause I'm in the same boat as you, whereas sometimes I'm like, "I have not really worried about how I organize my children's drawers."
Yeah.
And that used to be a thing that I would value, and now it's not even on my radar. Learning to let some of that stuff go as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think there's a big difference between the trade-off that comes with like a spoonful of control and the
Sure.
trade-off that can happen organically within like the safety and the uncomfortability of like hard conversations,
Yeah.
right? Because I know that some of my clients struggle with the spoonful of control piece around like, I could never leave for a weekend because my partner is X, Y, and Z. Like fill in the blank,
Yeah.
Um, and or if I was to go away for the weekend, I would have to basically prepare everything like I was here anyway.
Mhm.
And some of that I think is we're all made up of multiple parts, and I think some of that comes from an anxious part of ourselves or
Fear.
a control part of ourselves, and some of it comes from sometimes a real logistic based on like lived experience with a person
Sure.
and
Yeah.
knowing that they won't pack the sunscreen.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Learning to let go that people are gonna do things different,
yeah,
and you hope and you hope that they'll cover the bases and just learning to let go. I used to be the same way when we were transitioning, is that I would try to still be the way that I would do it, but
yes,
over time and the more that we've been in these roles, the more I've let go and like the kids are fine. It's actually like really refreshing for them to see a different perspective of somebody who's taking
yes,
care of them. Honestly, in so many ways, like I think too, as a woman who's works, I think the expectation and the understanding societally is that you're gonna be at home
mhm,
and you're gonna wanna be at home and you're gonna want that. And I loved my time with my kids, don't get me wrong. But in so many ways in my relationship, it was so much better and he was so much better suited to do that role than I ever was.
yeah,
Right? So just seeing what works best within your relationship.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say has opened the doors, so to speak, for you to be able to pursue more and different things because of the balance of the mental load?
Yeah. So because I have that support system and, I come from privilege. I'm a white lady middle class from
Yeah.
Leduc, right? So I have means. So it's given me just more space to pursue my career more. And not only just for my own self-fulfillment, but also for my family. Like, it's a huge driving force. I think that's something that I think that in the working world that's really neglected is, like and not understood is that women have a huge investment in their jobs because we want good for the world. We want to provide for our kids just as much as our partners do. And
Mhm.
so for me, my family and what I'm able to give and provide them is a huge motivator for taking risks in the workplace than I've ever could have done before had I not had a good partner or had the means to have support with them. Right? So, I mean, in my current role right now, I've taken more risks in the last few years and seeing where things go. And it's so far, I think it's been really positive in the community. Some of the things that I've been doing and has been at least helping others. So yeah.
What do you find is still a struggle? What's like what is the thing that you go to bed thinking at night that's like still part of the struggle?
I think for me, where I'm currently at is making sure that I'm having meaningful time with my children. Making sure that like I'm present with them rather than being on at work all the time. So that's a big one and making sure that I'm knowing them and I'm building them to be the people that they are showing me that they want to be, right? Like my daughter is super dramatic and artistic and so getting to know that more and pushing her in those directions that I think that will show up for her for, but it's just that meaningful time. So I just try my best to have those boundaries as best as I can, spending one-on-one time with my kids. But I think that's kind of the emotional load that I carry is, am I having like a really authentic relationship with them and that they're
Mhm.
not just seeing me in a working role all the time, that they're seeing me as their mom.
How does that impact you in pursuing things like running for council and all that?
Well, I mean, my girls are a huge driving force in everything I do, right? I had them relatively young. So I finished having them in my mid-20s, and I think it's a huge like I said, they're a huge motivator. I want a better world for them. I do more for them because they're they're going to surpass me by the time I leave, right? And so they drive me to take risks. But it's also, yeah, that balance of at least inviting them in. So often you'll see me out at events when I'm running for council, I'll invite them in because I think it's important for them to see other aspects of me too. But carving out that time where it's separate from work is like a big focus for me right now, especially.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do you find it hard to shut off that work brain?
for sure. Oh yeah, it's a struggle, especially when you're leading people, right?
Yeah.
It can be very hard, but I have to be very intentional that I leave work and work items like my computer at at the office so that I have that time. If I know that I'm really busy, then I will make sure that I need to take off like a few days so that I have that time with them. But it's
Yeah.
hard. I don't think it's a perfect system, and I don't think women should feel bad if it is
Mhm.
hard to turn that off because it's a part of you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've had lots of really good, women leadership, but I think as a whole, we haven't had a lot of good roadmaps,
No.
on the like interpersonal
No.
level to like how to do motherhood in this way that
Yeah.
the modern expectations or pressures expect us to, right? Like I got really triggered by an Instagram post a couple weeks ago about her tag was like millionaire something anyway. And she was basically saying about how we should go back to wall phones like at our homes.
Mhm.
And I was like, not a bad idea. So I read through the whole thing, right? It was like a carousel post. I read through the whole thing and I was like, okay, like I could maybe buy into this,
Sure.
except I don't know the time when my kid's soccer game changes without the app. So
You're setting me up for failure
like I
here.
can't like
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
have a foot in both worlds,
Yeah.
right? It's like back when my kids were in daycare, they're no longer daycare age. But when they were in daycare, they like all of the reports would be done through the app. And so it was like I could get
Mhm.
information if
Mhm.
I didn't have my phone like
Mhm.
literally in my pocket. And
I
so there's like this, like, yeah, ideally analog, love it. And also, like, I get 4 emails a week from the school. So, like,
It's
I can't,
aggressive. It's
like,
aggressive, schools. It's aggressive. Like, give us some space. We got this. I feel the same way. My kids are coming to school and I'm having so many emails.
yeah,
And it's can be overwhelming. I think with this, I think part of it is that we're not going to make everybody happy.
yeah,
So maybe we are going to drop the ball on some school emails sometimes, but maybe we're going to be really good at not being on our phones with our kids
yes,
1 week, right? And there's going to be times where maybe we're going to probably utilize screen time more. It's
yes,
not perfect. Like it's kind of system right now is kind of setting us up for failure. So
yes.
just like
Because
be
really, you're
okay with
damned if
that.
you do and you're damned if you don't.
You're damned
Like,
either way. Yeah.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
like, and I noticed this morning. I had to do some paperwork, and so I was
Yeah.
at an office, and my kids were like in the waiting room chairs,
Yeah.
and I'd given them the right act, like, please don't horse around, don't
Please
touch the
don't damage
spinny
anything.
thing, like, don't, just don't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I was looking back at them a few times, and the woman at the kiosk, she was like, "I raised boys. It's okay. Like they're just behaving exactly like boys do." And I was like, "And also, they can't like wreck your property." Like I
Like
like
that's a good rule of thumb. That should
right.
be like the standard.
And
Yeah.
so at one
Yeah.
point she was watching them, right? Because she could see them
Yeah.
directly. And I caught myself saying, I don't want them to be those kids. And I thought in this moment, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. I'm damned if I seem too authoritarian, right? If I seem too like you're the controlling mom who like can't let their kids just like be kids out in public. And I'm damned if they get out of too control
If
if
you're
they're too
too
if I'm
submissive.
too like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, jump on the
Yeah.
chairs. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Twirl the thing around until it spins right off the thing, right? And so it was even I could sense the tension in this moment of like, I don't want to be perceived as authoritarian because I'm really not. I actually think kids deserve to take up space and they deserve to be children out in public and all the
Sure.
things. But I also don't want to be perceived as like a pushover either. And I'm allowing these behaviors that are like not proper, right?
Mhm. I think
Yeah.
a good rule of thumb is, we can't control how other people perceive us, And so, like, I as a therapist, this comes back all the time,
Yes.
like, what do you have control over?
Yeah.
You have control over yourself. Do you think that you're doing a good job? Do you think that you're not? You're giving your kids some space? And then, yeah, then I think we could all learn to just, it's hard, but
Yeah.
not care what other people are thinking about us because often they're really concerned about how they're coming across. I
Right?
think we all feel like the stage is on us, the lights are on us, but we're all just really busy and we're all just trying to like focus on how we're getting through our day, right?
Yes.
I think that's a good humbling reminder is that we're all probably just trying to get by as
Yes.
best as we can. Yeah.
Yeah, it was I could just that tension, right?
Yeah, I get it. I feel
I could
that. Yeah.
almost hear it in your voice as well
Yeah.
around I love my career, I love my job. I'm so passionate about these things. And I'm making I am setting out to make a difference, right? And also I don't want my kids to only see that version of me. Like
Mhm.
and there's that tension between good
It's push and
human,
pull.
good
Yeah.
professional, good
Yeah.
parent, like
Yeah. And I think when I go about on the work and I take chances and I'm working and I it's also given me the ability, like, having kids gives me the ability to, like, forgive myself by making mistakes.
Mm.
Because I think raising children is an experiment. Every day we're just trying to figure out how we're gonna do it. We apologize, we make mistakes, and I think being a mother has taught me that some things that I do in the workplace is not gonna work, but I can pivot. There's always something else I could do and, like, how I can overcome. So when I, like, thinking about, like, running for municipal government, right? There's votes, there's a good chance I'm not gonna get a seat, and, you know, that's a reality, and it'll sting a bit, but at least I'm putting myself out there and taking a shot and, like, wanting to get a little bit more representation for young moms and that mental health piece, I think is huge, and nonprofit and understanding how that system works, I think that would be huge value to our community, and that's something that I wanna show my kids is, like, taking that shot and making things happen, even win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would be your resounding message for the moms who listen? What is something you're like known for saying to your friends when they're like down and out or
Question.
being hard on themselves? Like, what's the thing you want them to know?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of the things that, like, when I speak with my friends, I'm lucky and fortunate that I have friends that are very similar in a lot of ways and very supportive, but I don't know, like, I always say, like, "We'll figure it out." Those, like,
Mm.
"Go for it." Like, often it's like, "Just go for it. We'll figure it out." Most things can be fixed or adjusted, and that's something that I often, we say to each other in, like, my friend circles is just like, "Go for it, we'll figure it out," or we'll roll with it. Because I mean, life kind of is very unexpected, especially, like, things are very, like, tumultuous right now, and there's a lot of things going on, and people are struggling, they can't afford things, and it's a tough time, and so I think just being okay with that standard of we'll figure it out and utilizing your community, whatever that looks like, I think is huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Riley, for this conversation. I
Mm.
really appreciated the pieces that you shared around mental load and how it wasn't always this way, right? Like your partner wasn't always home being the primary parent,
Mhm.
and how advocating for yourself in that support and creating that negotiation in your relationship, it has opened up doors and time and capacity for you to be able to pursue things outside of the role of just mom.
For sure, and, I wanted to mention when you brought up COVID, I had a six-month-old, so I remember doing, swimming lessons in the bathtub as a way to pass time, the things that we did just to
Oh man,
get
we had
through
so
it.
many baths,
So many baths,
so many baths.
so many, really bad versions of swimming lessons were had in those bathtubs to just
Yes.
occupy time.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to lose it really soon. But it was so 8 months, COVID started, 10
Yeah.
months, he slipped in the tub and he
Yeah.
chipped a tooth. And
Um,
it was like a daily reminder because we also couldn't go to the dentist
yeah.
it was like lockdown. And
Yeah.
so it was like we couldn't go to the dentist.
Yeah.
And then by the time we'd gone to the dentist, it was fine and he didn't need any work done on it. But it's like it's a reminder, this like chip in his tooth of how many baths we had to pass the time. Yeah.
And then that's something that you'll always remember is that time where, and then looking back, that was really a hard time. And now I kind of look at it and I kind of can able to laugh and even smirk at like how insane that was.
Hmm.
Yeah. We kind of
Yeah.
forget in a way,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
appreciate, thank you for having me for sure.
Thank you, Ryley. Good luck in your running as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.